Hello, my name is Mateo Vasquez, and today I'll be taking you through the wonderful world of IT. Today's topic is
Networks. Yes, networks. From the remarkably simple to the remarkably complex. Networks permeate throughout all of computer information exchange, linking things such as the internet, home users, and routers all together to form one cohesive unit. But what exactly is a network? Well, a network is any way that that several computers are linked together in any possible manner whatsoever. However, the most typical version of this is the client-server network, where a group of clients contacts the server for information, and the server is in contact with the database. The server then replies all the information that the clients request that they're able to gain to the clients, thus creating a flow of information, which allows the client computers to have access to far more than they would be capable otherwise and communicate across each other through the server. The other method of networking is peer-to-peer networking, in which case there is no central client server that houses all the data, but all the workstations communicate together through a central hub, allowing the sharing of data without the need to go through a central server. Now all this increases efficiency, which is the entire purpose of a network, allowing the users to communicate information between computers and allowing for the sharing of data and files allows for greater collaboration and assistance in projects, increasing overall productivity for the individuals. However, networks are not always used properly. Examples of this include goofing off on the computer, faulty communications, and even burning space on a network, not using the network but being on the network, resulting in slower connection for every other individual. Now, to counter this, network monitor programs are used. This is an example of a PRTG network monitor. However, the most common ones are SNMP and WMI. Basically, what a network monitor does is allows the monitor to observe all the activity that is going on the network from every single one of the users. Now, this is incredibly helpful for managing and maintaining a network, as it allows the user to simply observe who is and who is not using the computer. Example would include the PNG3 downtime percent. That would tell exactly how much the user is using the computer or not. The most efficient version of network monitoring is the Audit Trail. It's also the most controversial. Audit Trails are a program feature in a network that allows the manager of the network to track every single thing that occurs on the network. And by everything, we mean everything. Any keystroke entered, any file requested, any simple movement of the mouse, depending on the program, can be monitored in an audit trail. Now, many times they're not, but if the boss is paranoid enough, or if he simply wishes to be a complete stalker, it is possible for him to monitor everything. These trails are very, very important in business, though, as they also allow for clarification of who's doing what and determining who actually uses the network efficiently and productively and who's using it for other activities. As such, many times what can be done with an audit trail is the balancing of what is known as fat clients. Oh God, no, 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 no. That is not a fat client. That is fat bastard. No, 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 no. A fat client is more like this. Haha, I get it. It's a pun. Computer's fat, so it's a fat client. Well, yes and no. Fat clients don't necessarily need to be heavy, intensive use computers, like professional computers and everything else like that used for high intensity stuff. No, a fat client is a computer that is able to handle itself without much reliance on the network. Fat clients are a boon to networks. They allow networks to operate at faster speeds when the client itself is reusing all the programs that it needs. And basically, it works like this. If you have 3 computers in a network, which you probably never would, you would have a lot more than that, but the point is still the same. About 3 computers And one of the computers has Microsoft Movie Maker, Microsoft Office. It has all the equipment that the the other computers would need to work properly. Well, that computer is a fat client as long as it's still a client and requests data from the server. It's able to run by itself most of the time, and thus takes a lot of load off of the bandwidth that's needed in the servers. These things are good. Thin clients are completely different. Now, this is a thin client. Just looking at it, you can already tell it doesn't have that much capacity. I know computers are getting smaller all the time, and with modern day technology, we can actually have pretty fast computers that are about that size. But seriously, look at it. It has no USB ports. It has, well, that are obviously visible, and it looks like it wouldn't be able to carry that many on the rear. It doesn't have many of the required things that would be useful in a high rate computer. And look at it. The heating system obviously does not support a fast and high capacity computer. This thing requires software from other things. It probably doesn't have that much data. This is a thin client. It requires practically everything from the server. It's always asking for data and taking up a ton of space in the network, which is ironic when you think about it. Fat clients are good for servers and they don't require that much, but they're metaphorically huge. Thin clients are really, really, really low capacity and require just about everything from the server, but when you compare them, you call them thin, which metaphorically would imply that they are not as much of a burden. It's a little counterintuitive, but once you come up with the general idea behind it, it makes a bit of sense now. Fat clients have a lot in them, don't need to eat as much from the server. Thin clients need to eat a ton from the server because they're just thin. I just want to touch on one more thing about peer-to-peer networks. They're legitimate networks. I know the media has been saying that they're all used for piracy and everything else, and that the only purpose to use them is to copy stuff and send it to someone else. Well, yes and no. Yes, peer-to-peer networks are used to copy stuff and send it to someone else. That's the entire point of a peer-to-peer network. But they're used for rapid communication and downloading, which has plenty of legitimate uses in businesses and high transit, high volume databases, and plenty of uses in companies that require a lot of files to be shared by everybody. It just speeds up everything. So, I have to make this final note about peer-to-peer networks. Stop bashing them. They're useful all over the place. They're legitimate. They're legal. They are not bad. You're not helping your pirate play. You're really not. I mean, everyone tries to make nice things about peer-to-peer network, and then you show up. You've got all of these torrents to download, and you've got all of these datas, and oh my god, your files are freaking ridiculous. It's like walking through a minefield. This is a bad peer-to-peer network. It's for piracy. If you use it and get caught, you can be in trouble. Besides this, though, peer-to-peer networks have legitimate purposes. Again, please stop bashing them.
These are my references for the passage, and they're listed in numerical order of the appearance of the picture.
Well, that's all I've got to say for now. So, until next time, bye.